This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Welcome to the Special Chronicles podcast. My name is Daniel Spikowski. I'm the founder and host of Special Chronicles, an athlete leader of Special Olympics Illinois, and a former Southern Tribal Global Messenger of Special Olympics. Our website is specialchronicles.com. To follow Special Chronicles on socials, subscribe to our newsletter, subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, find the show notes on all that on specialchronicles.com. This week on the Special Chronicles podcast series, we are recapping Turin2025, the Special Olympics World Winter Games, and our guest is Jim Bluemond, a Special Olympics coach who coached with our Special Olympics USA team. Please put your virtual hands together as we welcome Jim on Special Chronicles. Welcome, Jim. Yes. It's good to have you on the program as we talk about the World Winter Games that just took place. By the time our listeners hear this, it would have been because this is going live in April, so it would have been about a month ago. So also, yeah, it's good to have you on. Why don't we begin by, you've been involved with Special Olympics for about 3 years now. Can you share with us what first inspired you to become a coach and how you first got involved in Special Olympics?
Thanks, Daniel. And I entered my fifth season of coaching now with Special Olympics, so time flies. It's been a life-changing time for me to be in Special Olympics. I first joined Special Olympics through my son Ben, who you know well.
Yes.
Ben is a Special Olympics athlete and leader, and it was really his passion for his sports that got me involved in coaching in the Special Olympics. And it was through that coaching of Ben where I really expanded my coaching career. So now I'm a coach with Fox Valley Special Rifle Association. I coach both the Snowshoeing and track and field teams for Fox Valley. And like I said, I'm my fifth season of track and field with them right now.
Awesome.
And also, it was Ben's efforts in Special Olympics that not only got me involved, but our whole family involved as well. And I couldn't imagine at the time I joined that I would have this opportunity to coach at the world level, at the highest level for Special Olympics. And I'm glad to talk about the experience here because it was definitely a life-changing experience.
Awesome. Yeah. We'll get into your experience on the program today. So speaking of your family's involvement, how has your family's involvement with Special Olympics shaped your own journey as a coach?
Yeah. We don't do things halfway. So when we join Special Olympics, we jump in with both feet. Overall. So not only am I a coach for Special Olympics, but I'm involved in the leadership team. My daughter Emma is involved with me on that committee as well. And my wife Christine, she's out during the weekend with me coaching. She's helping her and the cat get gas together and feed and whatever we need her to do. I'm on top of that, we're helping out with fundraisers, events, speeches, wherever we can help promote the program overall.
Awesome. And you mentioned your son Ben, who I've known the past few years through a lot of our athlete leadership trainings and opportunities that we've had, how has being a parent to an athlete influenced your coaching style?
I think one, once you get, it makes you want to get involved more with it, and seeing him thrive and be able to help influence that and be a part of that was really special for me. I think also being a parent, especially with the athlete, would be a extra layer of empathy for not only the athlete but other parents as well. And I think I can talk to them and might be at a different level. Having an athlete as well in my family and having a coach.
Awesome. And family is definitely a big part of this movement. Without our families' support and involvement in all competitions to the athlete leadership, it means a lot. And so, with you mentioning your family involvement here in Special Olympics Illinois, can you tell us a little bit more about the role that your family has in supporting the athletes on your team and athletes across the state as well?
Well, it's one of my parents, and part of the reason I understand leadership game for Special Olympics in Illinois is that I'm so surprised at how many families don't know what the opportunities that Special Olympics has. I speak from experience because we joined kind of late, almost well into his study when we found out that Special Olympics was available for him. And I think many times at Special Olympics we take for granted that people know about it or know who to be included with it. But I think there's a lot of families with athletes with intellectual disabilities and autism, for example, that don't know these opportunities for them. So it's a personal passion of mine to make sure that we get this information out to families in different ways, which is again why I'm involved in the leadership team. It surprises me so many times where I'll be at a top on the rooftop or to the top of a fair event or selling bugs. I meet people that just open up and say, I have a child with disability, and the idea of Special Olympics was available for them. And then once you're in Special Olympics, there's so many opportunities with the leadership team and committees and volunteer work that you can do to be involved. Even coaching I got into, right? So I think those are things that people need to be aware of.
Awesome. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll get into coaching at the World Winter Games in Italy, and as the reason for having you on the program. And just to let you all know that support for Special Chronicles comes from listeners like you. Please join our supporters with monthly or one-time donation. So we can operate our studio, keep the lights on, keep this microphone on, keep all the technology plugged in, continue our mission, give respect and voice to people with disabilities. Visit specialchronicles.com/give to support this podcast today. And if you want to access bonus content, you can join now, specialchronicles.com/plus. And speaking of the World Winter Games, as a snowshoeing coach for Special Olympics USA at the World Winter Games, I'm going to jump a little bit off script a little bit, and then we'll come back to it. But first, share with us how did this opportunity come to coach at the World Games, which is the highest competition that we have within Special Olympics. But how did this coaching opportunity come?
Thanks, Daniel. I put myself out there, the call came out for coaching applications for it, and I applied for the role. I talked about my background in coaching and my background in snowshoeing and my success with it. I didn't have any thought that I would get picked for it, but I thought I would try overall. But I'll tell you that PPL, Tobacco, and Tracy Hilliard and the management team were really supportive of my application. Maggie Rubeck, who was the World Games head coach, has been a great mentor for me the last couple of years. Very nice reference letter. To be part of it. I'm interested in interviews for the role. And as I proceeded the process, I was getting a little more excited. And when I got the call that I was being selected, I couldn't believe it. I went to work to make sure I heard the right thing. Got it. It was an honor of a lifetime to be selected for this, and was so thrilled, and got to contribute for the USA going into it. So I feel blessed to be part of it. And I hope to do it again someday.
Awesome. And so after you heard about it, and then you guys had training, and then when you traveled to Italy, what were you most excited about for the athletes leading up to the games?
I put myself in their shoes because it was my first World Games as well. And the coach, there's 6 coaches for this snowshoe team. I was the rookie. Going in, so I felt the excitement I had to go to a new country and experiencing things. So I had to feel the same way. And I made it very clear as a goal for myself to make sure that the athlete would take a beat, take a breath, stand back, and really immerse themselves in the moments that they were having here. I know the athletes put a lot of pressure on themselves to get on the podium, get a medal, right, perform well. And that's certainly part of it. Mm-hmm. But a major part of it is the experience of meeting people from around the world, different cultures, different landscape, environments, food, experiences overall. And I want to make sure I set up an environment that they were able to kind of soak that in. And I wanted to do the same as well. And I think we can.
Awesome. And so, speaking of setting up the athletes, what goals did you have for the athletes that you're coaching, and how did you work with them to make sure that their experience at the World Games, because not that many athletes get to, many athletes compete at the local level and the regional level, and maybe even some might compete nationally as well, but not that many athletes get to compete at the World Games. So what goals did you set for the athletes on your team, and how did you work to make sure their experience was unforgettable?
That's a great question. I had 3 goals for myself and the athletes going out. My first goal was to make sure that they were safe and included. Not physically safe or court-fed component, but that they felt psychologically safe as well. And that they felt included in the moments with the other athlete. No one being left out. To set up that environment was really important for me. The second goal, like I just mentioned, that they had a chance to stand back and immerse themselves in the moments. Because you're right, this is going to be once in a lifetime experience for most of the athletes that are out there. So the fact that we were trying something new to eat, or maybe in another country, and creating plans, walking into opening ceremony was a very emotional moment. And I wanted to make sure that we put the phones away for a minute, soak in, what you're experiencing here overall. And then my third goal was to make sure that they were ready to perform. That they had a feel for the arena, the track, their gear was in good shape, they understood the rules, and that they felt prepared to be able to go out and perform, and it was their time to perform. And I think we accomplished all that.
Awesome. And as you learned when you went over there, the Winter Games, the World Games is such a huge event. I think these games had over I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I think over 1,000 athletes from many
1,500 athletes.
1,500 from
over 100 countries.
Over 100 countries, which I've in my role as a Southern Tribal Global Messenger, I had the opportunity to go to the War Games in Berlin and in Abu Dhabi, so getting to kind of experience the games from that athlete leadership opportunity. So knowing just how huge of an event, Winter I think is a little small, but I'm sure it was still such a huge event. So how do you plan to, how did you balance the competitive aspect of the events that your team was competing with making sure that they had a safe and enjoyable experience?
Great question. I thought the organizing committee did a good job kind of partitioning the events overall. So your first few days, you're implementing the time chain, just being in the hotel together and everyone with a rhythm overall. But those were the days when we were touring, having some fun, using the metro out there and exploring on our own. Some opening ceremonies. So those first few days were just really fun, right? And a time for us to kind of just enjoy the culture out there. And what's interesting is that we went from Turin to Snowshoeing, Italy, which is about 2 hours away from Turin, up in the mountains.
Yeah.
And then at that point, the ships had come into the mode. So I think it was partition well over the afternoon. Okay, now I'm enjoying myself and being here. Now I'm up in the mountain, I'm on the track, in the snow, and now I'm getting ready to compete. So it made it easier for people to kind of get their minds in the right mode.
Awesome. And what do you think is the most important aspect of coaching at such a high level at the World Games, and how did you plan to deliver that to your athletes? What do you think was the most important aspect of?
Yeah, I think these athletes are coming pretty well trained already. I think that they're at they were nominated at the world level to come in. Now, we met with all the athletes monthly, and even more frequently, to make sure that they were working out. We get them different exercises to do to get them prepared. My mantra was legs and lungs. You gotta get the leg ready for the snow, long as we're gonna be up in altitude. So we made sure that they had workout plans a month leading up to it and all. But the other challenge in coaching at the Special Olympic level is that every athlete has a very specific need that they have. They all have different types of disabilities, different ways of dealing with different aspects of the threat, and how we continue to tune in what they need. Because you want to make them comfortable and take away any stress or anxiety they might have, so they can go out and be confident in how they're going to perform, right? Overall. So getting to know the athletes over the last year in different meetings, had a good idea what they needed from me to support them overall. Now, just different when you get out there, but these are 15, 16-hour days that you're doing, it's basically demanding. You're totally immersed within all levels of your life. Not just barking at them for an hour on the track. With meditation, meals, and all the little things that come up when they're roommates, and also it's a full-time job. But again, we had a great set of athletes, very kind to each other, very patient, which made it easier for us to work with.
Awesome. I'm going to take one more break, and when we come back, we'll get into a little bit about the impact and the legacy of these games, as well as some final thoughts and some fun questions as we wrap up at the end. After this short break, let you all know that support for Special Chronicles comes from Energy Force Ambassador Program, the country's first energy and solar efficiency education program designed for and taught by people with disabilities. You can learn more at specialchronicles.com/ConMed. And support for Special Chronicles also comes from United Airlines Bridge Disability Business Resource Group, connecting people of all abilities. You can learn more on United's commitment to disability inclusion for employment and travel at specialchronicles.com/United. And just like with a lot of the World Games, it's always impactful, and there's usually legacy that comes from when you get all the athletes. I think I saw a clip from the opening ceremony that I think it might have been Tim Shriver who might have said that you've come to the Special Olympics country, where everybody is included and accepted. So, kind of drawn upon that, what were your thoughts of at the opening ceremony and hearing Chairman Tim Shriver speak and other speakers? I think the new class of Southern Shriver Global Messengers were on stage as well. And so, what was that experience like?
Yeah, I tell you, the opening ceremonies was like the first time that I got really pumped up. You're out 5 for hours in line, kind of making a way through. And then you walk in that into the stadium for the first time, and has all the people cheering. It was overwhelming. I reached out during that, and then hearing Tim Shriver. Just what a national representative he is for the Olympics, and the powerful speech he gave. And then what I really loved about it was at the end of the opening ceremonies, the band was playing all the African games together. It was to see the African directing with other countries. It seems like they're different.
Yeah.
They might speak different language, but they're facing the same challenges and having the same fun and looking for the same thing. No matter where you're from.
Yeah, awesome.
That was really special.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm sure that was, and my experience at some of the World Games, it had that same atmosphere as well. So how do you think that Special Olympics events like these World Winter Games impacted the athletes both on and off the field, both when they were competing in snowshoeing, both during the competition, but also how did you see that it impacted your athletes off the field?
Yeah, I think one part something bigger than maybe what they walked into all that day. And what I really appreciated was that athletes been in a competition, even they won gold or a medal or didn't. Seeing them on the podium, pointing it out, they're just happy, proud, and their families happy, proud of them. And I think they all walk away with the forget. They're feeling part of the global bigger than from where they started.
Yeah, awesome. And we've reflected now on these games. What do you hope, or what have you seen your athletes take away from this experience at the 2025 World Winter Games in Turin, both as athletes, but then also as individuals? I'm pre-recording this out of order, but I think I'm gonna be talking with Mary Malvin.
Mallory.
Yeah. I'm gonna be our listeners are going to hear a whole episode before they hear yours, but I'm pre-recording out of order. But with Mary and with other athletes on your team, what have you seen that they've taken away from this experience, both as athletes and as individuals?
Like two things that are taken away from it that be good is one, I think there's a lot of pride in their hard work and how it paid off for them ultimately. I think that they could reflect the commitment they made to their sports, and to their training to get to that level, and then perform well. At that level, all of our athletes from Special Olympic Illinois came home with medals.
Yeah, awesome.
They all came home with some hardware, and it wasn't always easy. We had illnesses out there, and a lot of stress, and a lot of great competition. For them to be able to perform and come home with that is really. I think the second thing I hope they're coming out with is a new level of confidence. It's a big trip. I mean, it's a big flight to go see Europe, be away from his family, to be on these schedules, these hard schedules that we're in, physical demands of it, and the fact that they accomplish it can show that they can do something major like that successfully. Should give them a whole level of confidence in themselves. I'm very proud of them.
Awesome, yeah. So after being involved in Special Olympics for several years, what changes or improvements have you noticed in this movement and the support for and the support that coaches like yourself, that the staff, that the teammates have? What changes have you seen over the years that have really impacted Special Olympics?
Seen great growth in the organization overall. I think the events that we're holding Special Olympics Illinois, I think they're keep growing and being more organized, for both the coaches and athletes, and the fans are out there. So I think you're seeing a more sophisticated level of events that are happening out there. Very professional. Overall, I think you're seeing growing resources for families overall, and I'm very proud of that family leadership team that we have. I think you're seeing a lot more resources for athlete leaders growing. And I think we took that time we had over COVID in the pandemic to really build the organization and provide resources for athletes, coaches, families, volunteers, and I've seen big growth. And I think the management team and the board of directors are taking it very seriously and smart with the resources that they're getting for us, which on a Special Olympic Illinois does a lot with a little.
Yeah.
Fundraising those concerns, I'm sure the staff aside and what they accomplish year over year for us is just remarkable.
Awesome. You mentioned near the beginning of being on the family leadership team, and I'm sure that you've spoken with other parents and even other coaches. So if you were to kind of sum up a message, what message would that be that you, and I'm sure that there might be other parents or coaches that will be listening to this podcast as well. So what message do you have for other parents, for other coaches that are looking to get involved in Special Olympics, either at their local level or even if there's other parents or if there's coaches that want to get involved at the next World Games to coach at that level or at the local level as well? What message do you have for them?
I'll point to myself as an example for them. When I came to Smoking Olympics, that was new. New to it, so you can't be afraid to put yourself out there. The organization is receptive to volunteers, ideas. If you want to try new things, there's opportunities for that out there, and they really appreciate it. So again, for me to be at this level of coaching, going into my fifth year with it, never mistakes that 5 years when we joined. And for my son, he's either giving speeches, appearances, he's having the time of his life with it, and then opportunities open up for our whole family, for my daughter, for my wife. Happy birthday, Christine, by the way, my birthday.
Awesome.
So happy birthday to her. It changed the whole trajectory of our family here. You got to be willing to put yourself out there, ask, volunteer, commit, and things will happen.
Awesome. I love that. And moving into more of a fun question, but we're going to bring it back to your experience of coaching at the World Winter Games and coaching Special Olympics, and kind of see if we can find a nice connection there. In reading your bio on Special Olympics USA, that you enjoy collecting Star Wars figures and that you have a passion for Star Wars. So how does your passion for Star Wars and we see that for those who are watching the video episode, if you just listen to the audio, go check out the video and we can see some of your Star Wars gear in the back. How does your passion for Star Wars tie into your role as a coach and as a parent?
Oh, Daniel. Well, we're coming here and these are all collectible, not toys. Right here. You know what? You need hobbies. You need things to kind of ignite yourself and other things to do with your time. And I was at the original Star Wars when I was 8 years old in the theater. I fell in love with it since. And so great. Having this collection of these collectibles, and like I said, you coaching's intense. Your time's intense with work and things you're trying to accomplish and volunteer in. So you need like guilty pleasures and things to do.
Awesome.
To give a little bit of a break. That helps me.
Awesome. And when you're not coaching or attending Special Olympics events, what are some of the ways that you spend time with your family? Is it related to Star Wars, or what are some of the other ways that you spend time with your family when you're not coaching?
They're not into Star Wars as much as we do. With Ben, he loves to train. He can keep a lot of different ways. And then I also have a running group that helps coach with another coach. To keep me involved with the community overall. And then with my family, we got our hobbies. We love cooking shows and competitions and things like that. That we get to kind of drop our brain a little bit and to decompress.
Awesome. Awesome. So before we get to the final question, do you have any? The past half hour has flown by, but do you have any and maybe next time on the program we'll have to have both you and Ben on. Definitely. We'll have to have you both on. So, do you have any final thoughts on your overall time here on this program and kind of to sum up your experience of coaching at the World Winter Games?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. It was an absolute privilege and honor to be selected, and I didn't take it lightly. I knew there were probably hundreds of coaches that applied for those 6 spots overall. I didn't take it lightly when I got picked. That I was going to be representing not only our country and our athletes, but other coaches as well. We've got great coaches in this state. Who deserve opportunities too. And I was glad. I think I was able to represent Illinois very well. And help our athletes perform.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I know from my time from over the past 20 years that I've been competing, all the coaches that I've had to do so much. Even one of my I'm not swimming right now, but one of my swimming coaches had even coached at the World Games in Dublin, I believe. So, it's really impactful that we have like yourself and many of the other coaches that are dedicated to helping us not only get medals, but improve in the sports, whether it's snowshoeing or track or basketball or any of the sports that yes, it's nice to get medals, but it's really, I think, more impactful that you guys as coaches are helping us to improve the sports, and that it's a lot more than just getting medals.
Oh, you're right. And the coaching team I was with is the best I've ever worked with. I've learned so much. I'm a better coach now, being part of it.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'm sure you're gonna continue to bring this experience at the local level as well. Before we really you get back to the rest of your evening, one final question, and we're going to go ahead and play the bumper that we have to introduce this final question.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters. In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference. Difference. Our demands are
equality,
dignity,
and the recognition of our
shared humanity. We will not stop or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
more divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
So we don't just want our listeners to listen to us, but we want our listeners to take action and to bring inclusion into their communities. And our listeners, I came back from the 2019 World Games in Abu Dhabi. I've been concluding with this final question that I think gets to the heart of what this podcast is about, and I think this final question will really help to help our listeners to bring inclusion, to bring the inclusion revolution into their own lives and into their own communities. So, what does inclusion mean to you?
Yeah, so caring to special needs. Inclusion is so important for me. And inclusion to me means setting up an environment where everyone feels naturally included, whether it's in an event or a conversation or even just little interactions that doesn't feel forced to them or satisfied to them. That they feel just naturally part of it, and I try to treat all my athletes that way. The way I talk with them, joke with them, give directions. I'm very consistent among everybody. That way, so they feel included, part of the team, and how I'm interacting and set up that environment where we see each other that too. So that's really one of the huge games for me.
Awesome. Well, that's a perfect way to wrap up this episode. I got a few final plugs for all of you listening in. You can shop our merchandise store. Disabled Voices Matter merch. We have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs. 60% of the profits will go back to support Special Chronicles. SpecialChronicles.com/shop. If you want to go and check out our merch store, tap that follow button. We have new episodes coming and actually all of April and May we have some new episodes all that will be recapping the World Winter Games, and so listen this month. You can go back and listen with Mallory, who was on Jim's team, and then an athlete who competed in alpine skiing. We have a Southern Tribal Global Messenger that was on, as well as the chief of sport and competition at Special Olympics International. You all can go back and listen to that episode, and then coming up in May, give you a little sneak peek that we'll be having two athletes that competed in the dance sport event at the World Winter Games, as well as we'll be talking with a couple of volunteers, some of the youth leaders about the Global Youth Leadership Summit. We'll be also talking about the Global Coalition for Inclusion with the Chief of Global Government Relations, and then we'll be talking with a couple people from United Airlines, which is one of the sponsors at the World Winter Games. So all of that is coming up in the next couple of months. You guys want to stay subscribe, follow this podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. You can find all those links on SpecialChronicles.com. Thank you again, Jim. It's been a blast hearing about your experience coaching and look forward to staying in touch.
Thank you, Daniel, for what you do for our movement. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And until everyone, we'll talk to you all next week right here on SpecialChronicles.com.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles podcast. Our podcast was produced by Daniel Smikowski on the Special Chronicles Network. Follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our website, SpecialChronicles.com, where you can stream our archives of over 500 episodes for free. Also, there's a list of our favorites, original series, award-winning columns, and blogs. And sign up for our newsletter to receive exclusive bonus content delivered to your inbox. Again, SpecialChronicles.com. Special Chronicles is hosted by Podbean Podcast Hosting. Our live streams are powered by StreamYard. Thanks as always to our business manager, Adam Smukowski, who always encourages us to never give up. I'm Daniel Smukowski, back next week with more stories. Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.